Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amenamar goal.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Welcome back to the Vic Akers Wonderland Podcast. I am your host, Lottie, and we're back for the Arsenal v Leicester City WSL game at the Emirates preview. Unfortunately, Adam is not with us tonight because he's not feeling well. We hope he feels better soon. But as always, I am joined by one of my other co-hosts in crime, and that's Matt. Matt, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. What crimes are we committing today?
I don't know. Probably like minimal information all over Leicester City because when you look for their pre-match conferences, there's nothing there. So let's see what we can get into. I thought today for our wonderful icebreaker, we can look at our top goal scorers this season at the Emirates. We've got Kimmy Little with 7, Beth Mead with 5, Vivian Miedema with 4, Alessia Russo with 4. What I really want to know is what has been your favourite goal live at the Emirates this season. Bearing in mind we do have more to come on Sunday.
Oh, it is a difficult one. I know you've got your favourite one, definitely with a good celebration. But I think the one that probably means the most, I would probably say, is the Alessia Russo goal against Villa. The fact that Beth Mead's got the assist for it, even falling down, she gets the assists. A bit similar to Kim Little last weekend, where I don't know if you saw it back again, but she fell over and just kept hold of the ball. That was a bit spectacular.
She's just absolutely magic, Kimmy Little. I mean, do we think? Oh, then again, Beth could catch her with a brace tomorrow if she gets it. But do you think Kimmy's gonna retain her title as Queen of the Emirates for the moment on the goal front?
I don't know. It's weird because usually at the Emirates, it's usually Kim only scores if it's a penalty.
Yeah.
It's very rare that she doesn't score.
I do think this tally of 7 does include her penalties, to be fair. So the thing is, Beth's only got to get a brace in their level. So hopefully we found a bit of form from the last game. But I've got to say, mine's probably the header, Chloe Lucas against Man United. That celebration, it makes me smile. We've used it for our exit video. If you watch on YouTube, she's there doing that, and it makes my heart feel really warm because again, it's against United.
What makes that probably even better, sorry, just quickly, it's the fact that the defenders hit it, tried to launch it, hit her own defender, and then Chloe's just gone, thank you very much. And I think I remember when we were doing the review, and I just mentioned that she just got it when she talked about it. It was like, I had to get my big fat head on the end of it. I was just like, that's pretty much sums up.
That sums up any header. No, am I wrong?
Yeah.
I never liked, obviously when I played, I'd never liked heading the ball because I was just like, it would go in, like I'd hit it too hard and I'd actually just like give myself concussion, literally. But the amount of times I've had to block using my head and with incoming crosses, I'm surprised I've got any brain cells left. But anyway, on to the news. As it is Friday night at the time of recording, a massive happy birthday to our very own Leah Volti, or Wally, as we know better know her as. She's had a lot of good moments this season before her MCL. For instance, my favourite moment from her this season was the game against Watford in the No More Red kit. That was one heck of a strike from our Wally. I think my next thing for you, Matt, is what's been your favourite season from one of your favourite players in the whole squad?
If I'm honest, there's times this season where she has just gone about her game and she's just done the business, and nobody's really picked up on how good she is. And it's really similar to when I talk about Kim Little at times, where you don't know how good the other player she is unless you watch her play live.
definitely one of those players who's once in a generational talent. And
Yeah.
how many players can you look across every single squad in the world play with 2 feet like she does? I don't. My knowledge across all leagues is limited, but from what I do know from the leagues I do watch, there is no one like Leah Volti.
If there was probably someone that could probably do it, I'd probably say it's someone in the Spanish team. Oddly enough, I know it's a bit of a men's, but I remember Santi Cazorla used to play left and right foot, and he was just amazing. It's just pretty much the same. It's just the Volti's doing it a bit further back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, he's once in a generational talent. I mean, he's still playing out in Spain, and I see his name pop up in the papers now and again. I'm like, oh, he's still playing. We love you, little tiny little magician. So yeah. But other good news on the Leah Volti front. Her recovery is progressing very well, but we're unlikely to see her this season. But the prognosis is positive from what we're getting from Jonas's interview. Viv is also on the right path to returning to the squad. She's not far off, so we will see her before the end of the season. But how many minutes, I'm not 100% sure. I'm trusting. I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm trusting Jonas to give her the right amount of minutes as he did previously.
Well, I imagine this will be something that they'll talk about behind the closed scenes. I think it came quite close to when they were doing the ACL injuries. He was quite, although it wasn't shown in the documentary, he was behind the scenes sort of almost talking to them, asking them, how far away do you think you are? Do you think you're ready? And that's why Viv took a little bit longer. Obviously, she had a little bit of a setback. And when she came back for the Bristol game, she got the 10 minutes, she nearly got an assist as well. It was just, it will take a little bit of time. If we do see it, I imagine it will probably be, I wouldn't say it's going to be this week. I would imagine it's next week against Everton.
Yeah, no, I agree. We finally got some news on Lena Hurtig in this press conference as well. We're not going to, sadly, she's been away from us for too long, and she won't be joining the squad for the rest of the season by the sounds of things. She is away for personal reasons. I do feel like we are missing her because she had that brilliant spark during the first half of the season, and then she just kind of disappeared. But we're kind of all hoping she's okay, because obviously they're not going to reveal what's going on, and it's just a case of, how do I put it? Her contract's up for renewal, and we don't know if we're going to see her next season.
But that being said, Jonas has made comments to say that we're going to try and do all our best to get her onto the pitch. So maybe there might be a small contract renewal in the offering, but it's speculation at this moment in time. We don't know for definite what's happening. But whatever's happened, I just hope that she's.
We're all waiting for you to come back, Luna. Put it that way. Into one of our main hot injury lists everyone's talking about is Frida Leonardsen-Mornham. She's returning to training via the return to play protocol. She was in training today. Got to see her wonderful ray of sunshine smile today. It is a possibility she could get minutes on Sunday, but we'll have to see. After today's session, they've got one more training session before decisions are made. So we'll see how she goes. Hopefully, fingers crossed, she'll be okay to start, even if it's just the second half minutes. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I would imagine last 10 minutes or so. It'll be very similar to patterns that we've seen this season when players are coming back from injury. Laura got the last 10, 15 minutes, and other players have followed suit, Leah Williamson, etc. So I think it's just normal standard procedure now, just because we have the extra 5 players sub now.
No, I think this might be slightly different because they didn't find anything, so it would be interesting to see how it plays out. But the main thing is she's going to be okay, and that's all we want from our Norwegian starlet. There's a lot of talk about contracts and work going on behind the scenes, which will remain behind closed doors as always. Arsenal will communicate with us when they have news for all players in question. So that'd be Vivian Miedema, Stina Blackstenius, Lena Hurtig. I think Leah Williamson may be on that list with Laura Wienreuter, Kimmy Little, Frida Leonson-Mornham, and Caitlin Ford. The only 3 definites on that list are Vivian Miedemar, Stina Blackstenius, and Lena Hurtig at this stage. We could be wrong because it's been a while since we've had any contract renewals from anyone. Also, a massive congratulations to our under-21s who have won the PGA Southern League. Omotara Junad secured the title of the tap-in against Sheffield United after a delivery from Sophie Harrison. Last game of the season will be the 24th of April before heading off to the playoff against Durham women. After that, they will either take on Leicester City or Manchester United to be crowned under 21 league winners on the 1st of May. Exciting times for our under 21s, Matt.
100%. And the best thing is that these are going to be players that we're potentially going to be seeing either in WSL or they'll most likely end up out on loan for another season, or they will decide come the end of the season that they want to try and pursue something else. And it's always exciting when you've got that opportunity to see the youth teams. I think it's very rare that they do actually advertise what's happening. So it's nice to see that it's slowly coming about, because there's going to be a huge interest to find the next set of players coming through, the Katie Reeds, the Michelle Adjemans, and all the others that are the Leia Harberts and everyone else in between. There's going to be a lot of interest in now, and I imagine that I don't know if you've got that news about Bournemouth yet.
Go for it.
So Arsenal have signed a new agreement for the next 10 years with Bournemouth to use Meadow Park, or as we like to call it, Meadow Park. So the idea is that it's going to be the academy games, but they haven't mentioned the women. But I imagine if they're using the academy sides, that means that the women's academy would be using Bournemouth a little bit more, which is great news.
That would be actually fantastic. So I wouldn't mind actually going to watch our under 21s, because I watched the boys in Premier League 2. Yeah, Premier League 2 when I can, because the kickoffs are a bit like normally during the week or really early on a Saturday. I try and get there as often as I can, but I'd definitely be up for just popping up the road to see the girls play. I think there will be definitely a turnout for them. I think it'll be really good for them as well, because can you imagine coming from the under 21s team and coming into the Meadow Park the way it is now? It's got to be a bit daunting, surely. But obviously, Katie Reed took it in her stride. So did Michelle Adjeman. But it's got to be a bit daunting, surely.
Yeah, and that's where the likes of William Williamson and some of the other girls that are in and around the more experienced, that they've sort of been in the same sort of position, whether it was at Arsenal or whether it was at a previous club. They've had to make their debuts at some point, and it's just about making sure that they build that confidence up when they're playing. I mean, I think Katie Reed's stats on the Villa game was that she played 12 passes and all of them were successful. And I think as well that it was I don't know if someone has clipped it up where she's actually made a brilliant Cruyff turn when one of the Villa players is trying to press her. So there's just things like that I think people are just going to be looking at and going, if that's what the academy players are doing, let's see what they can do in the Arsenal squad.
Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, back to more academy news. Our under 16s have made it to the PGA Cup final, formerly known as the FA Girls Youth Cup, for a second season in a row. This could mean the girls will win it again, because as they clinched the title during a thrilling penalty shootout, making and winning the double last season. The girls started out in October 23 against Reading, where Abby Conway scored 2 goals to secure the victory. And then we went on to play Tottenham Hotspur. Gabby Zedler's goal was the only difference, which again sealed another win, which is things that we love to see against Tottenham. Then straight after that, we went up to Leicester. Despite the tough game featuring 5 goals, Abby Conway and Kiri T. Hutchins helped. Oh no, sorry. Kiri T. Hutchins double helped us secure a 3-2 victory, and we're now gearing up to face Man United for a repeat of last year's final, which will be held in Northampton Town FC Sixfield Stadium on Saturday the 27th of April. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. So if you're around, please put your shoes on and go and support our girls if you're local to there. Tickets for this game are completely free.
That's the great news, is that you can get it out. I actually had sent that across to my sister to say, but you got an opportunity of a day out there for people, wasn't 2 nieces, her husband. That's 4 people, 3 day out, watch football, also getting to see Arsenal play a bit locally. It's 3 day out. Not many times can you say that.
It's why it's how many times can you say, I went to watch the Arsenal for free? It's why I like going to the academy games. I don't have to spend a penny apart from hot drinks because it gets very cold up there. Last but not least, Gooner fans have officially launched their first issue of the Gooner for the Arsenal women as a digital edition attached to the weekly newsletter, which will be released on Fridays. If you want to subscribe, check it out in the description below. But first, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for us if you're enjoying the show. Also, I want to really say a massive congratulations to our good friend Freddie Cardi. He's apparently been sitting on this secret for a while, and I'm pretty sure he can't wait to see what he has in store for us as this progresses. I mean, Matt, how excited are you to have like our own version of the Gooner?
Well, it's going to be huge. I remember in the early days going up to the Emirates and all you hear is "Get your Gooner" on the corners near the match day programs and things like that. So it's exciting times, and it's one of the things that a lot of people were concerned about was that when further down the line, at one point it was going to go bust, and then they brought the idea of memberships out, and that sort of helped it grow. It's one of those things, the fan magazines and things like that, it's not a dying art. It's just finding a new place for it, and things like online, doing it as part of the newsletter is an excellent addition. I mean, it also means if you're not interested, you don't have to click on it. So it's great to see, and there's also a couple of people that are attached to it as well that are quite some quite well-known journalists as well. So Freddie's got himself a little bit of an A-star team at the moment.
No, absolutely, it's exciting times. I can't wait. I've got the digital download on my iPad to read tonight, so that's my reading after the pod. Really excited for that. 40,000 plus tickets have been sold for this weekend. Leicester's first trip over to the Arsenal. I know that they've sold 600 for themselves for the away end, which is absolutely fantastic to hear. How are we feeling about 40,000 for this one, Matt?
It's good news, and it's always great that you get those opportunities to go to the Emirates. As much as I mean, I've only been twice to Meadow Park, but the atmosphere at Meadow Park is as congested as it is. It's not. We know it's only short term. We don't know how long for, but sooner or later we're going to have to upgrade, and it does look like the Emirates is going to be our home sooner rather than later. It's just a case of making sure that these teams get adjusted to it. As we're seeing at the moment, Brighton are playing Everton and at the Amex tonight. So these are going to be usual things, but it just needs to be a little bit more common now. I think sooner or later we'll see a lot less of the smaller stadiums, unless it comes across in like there's some sort of game midweek or anything like that. Then it might be the case that the smaller stadiums are used at the moment. But for us to repay what Leicester have done for 3 seasons by allowing by us going over to King Power, and it's a great little thank you little present, I think, for them, and especially with the season that they've had. There's been no relegation issues or anything like that, which they had for the last 2 seasons, which is great for them. And it'll be a nice little celebration for them as well, because it's nice for them to celebrate something that they can be proud of at the end of it, a semi-final that they just missed out on that final with the Martha Thomas header, and it was a bit of a shame, really, because I was really hoping Leicester were going to win the FA Cup this year.
Oh no, we did. We were all hoping that was the dream. For anyone who is not attending the game on Sunday, the game will be streamed live on Arsenal.com. You will have comms from Anita Asante and Max Jones. So hopefully it should be rocking and rolling in that. There shouldn't be any issues. I also want to say a massive thank you to Anita Asante for my England v Sweden matchday program from Wembley. I have got that and I am very happy with it. Unfortunately, we're going to have to end the news on some bit of a negative note on the ACL injury front. Fee Brown from Glasgow City has ruptured her ACL. As always, we hope she feels better soon, and we'll can't wait to get back on the pitch. But we have got some more ACL news, haven't we, Matt?
Yes, and this was covered a little bit on the last pod. Kaylee McDonald, who is the Stoke player who came out and said that she basically had to go privately. She had to pay £20,000 to get the surgery done, see specialists and the rehab. That's how much it was going to cost. And it looks like, because there was a lot of pressure and backlash on Stoke City, that Stoke City have now decided that they're going to now pay for her surgery and everything else. It's all great news for everyone involved, but it's just like a little bit of a warning to those that aren't self-sustaining. So look at the clubs like Lewis, the other clubs like Durham as well. Some of the clubs that don't have a men's team, who can't afford, maybe even like London City Lionesses as well, if they have I'm just going to pick a name, like Lars Joel, say captain for London City, if she gets injured with an ACL, can London City afford that £20,000 to get her the surgery? It's a bit difficult. So there needs to be some sort of thing in place in the future, whether it's the FA, whether it's the leagues, whether there's something put together so that, because we know how much of an epidemic this is. So
would you say that the FA, except the footballing boards, I'm just going to say that because it applies across the world, they need to put some sort of fund together for those self-sustaining teams so they've got access to it when this sort of injury happens?
I'd say, yeah. I would even probably call it like the injury, not the injury money, injury money jar. I think that's the best way I can probably put it at the moment. Where if actually, I'm just thinking, there is a player that I do know. She did have her ankle sort of surgery done over December. So if she had to pay for that herself, then it's a bit of a hard one, because then you're looking at recovery. Recovery can take up to 3-4 months. Luckily, she's playing in the Northern Ireland League, so they don't start until the summer sort of months. So she'll be only just getting ready for the season now. So, but yeah, a money pot would be definitely great for the team, and probably great for the leagues if say the teams that could afford it, they could just say, right, you're gonna put a money pot in aside. That way, if anything happens, that's there, and you can say, look, we've got this injury, we use that money pot for that ACL. Just helps bear the load a little bit for the teams as well. It's a real shame that we've still got this epidemic, and there's still questions over what's happening with it as well.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's still a pandemic, and we're just waiting for something to be done. Hopefully, it has passed Arsenal. I am touching wood as we speak, and I hope that is as well. But we're going to get into it. Leicester City on Sunday. Is it 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock kickoff?
I believe so.
No, 2 o'clock kickoff. They're ninth in the Women's Super League, so they're safe. Well, really safe from relegation. They've just lost the Women's FA Cup semi-finals to Tottenham Hotspur, 2-1 in extra time. thanks to Martha Thomas. In the reverse fixture, they were winning 2-0 at half time. We came back with 6 in the second half at the King Power Stadium. So if it goes wrong in the first half, do you think we could come back from that?
I think a lot of lessons have been learned from what happened last time. It was just a case of we looked at it and just everything had to change, and Jonas just sort of bit the bullet there and just said, right, okay, this is what changing. Leicester have some great players that know the league inside out, like Deanne Rose, CJ Bart, Sophie Howards, Janina
Tierney on that
Leipzig.
list?
Sorry?
Sam Tierney on that list?
Yeah, some Tierney as well. There's plenty of players that are quite experienced within the league.
Yeah.
I think there's one player that you've picked out above the rest.
Yeah. No, I have. It's got to be is it Rantala? Her form at the minute is a bit red hot. Obviously, she's come over from the Damallsvenskan. I do apologise. I've probably just butchered my Swedish words. From Vitcho. So last season over there in she had 17 appearances and 8 goals. Since she's been at Leicester, she's had 18 games, 6 goals and 4 assists. Jonas has said he knows what quality she has within her due to her playing in the Swedish leagues, and we know our boss watches the Swedish leagues very closely. Also with the likes of Takarada and Mamiki coming over from Linkopings. Do you think Jonas is going to be prepared for these? And do you think Kyra's looking forward to playing against these guys again? Because we got her from Hammarby, didn't we?
Yeah, I think Kyra's going to have fun in games in this match. I actually do think Kyra's going to be playing in this one. If I'm honest, I know.
I hope so, because every time you say she starts, right? She starts. So please.
I did think that she was going to start the game against Bristol City, but she didn't. But I think Kyra's going to start this one, and she's going to have a lot of fun with it, considering what happened in that second half. She had a lot of the opportunities to go forward and play those lovely little long balls that she'd been doing, especially in the Continent Cup. She was chaotic and good chaotic, let's put it that way. It's nice to see that you're slowly getting to see the player that we've got now, and I'm hoping that we see more of her, because she is a great player, and she's got really great talent, and the fact that she's got that vision to play those long balls. We know Leah can play them, we know Lotta can play them as well. We know a couple of the others do play them as well, so it's nice to have an extra player that is available to do that. I think the player, you're right though, it's just about Julia Rantala just trying to minimise what impact she has. I was questioning about where she's going to play, because it's quite when you look on like, it seems to be she plays on the wing or she plays up front.
That sort of front three with Deanne Rose and is it Lena Peterman? Yeah. At the moment, so they look good at the moment. I'm not going to lie, they do look good from a Leicester perspective. Yeah,
and it's about making sure that we don't give them those opportunities that we did last time. I think Leicester have been a bit of a surprise at the moment, because if you give them those opportunities, they will score those unpredictable goals. Ratada scored an excellent goal in the FA Cup semi-final. That was just outside of the box, something that you probably expect a lot to, which actually, oddly enough, it hasn't really happened a lot at the Emirates. The goals outside the box this season.
No, they haven't, which is it's a bit of a weird one for us. I think the last one was Katie McCabe, was it, at Villa?
I'm trying to think this season. I know at the Emirates, I think the only one I can think of this season was Alessia. Goal against Aston Villa was just on the edge of the box.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought it was Katie for some reason. I'm going mad. I was down the other end of the pitch, so I don't. I'm going mad. It's been a very long season. I think what I really did appreciate about Jonas's interview, they were talking about Tian Rose, Lena Peterman, Shata Rantala, Sayori Tarakada, Yuka Momiki, like all these big players with quality international careers, like. But you've also got the likes of Janice Kamen, Sam Tierney, and all the other players you've mentioned. But how do you just kind of focus on one player when there's quality within Leicester and we know that's there? You can't just focus on one player and think no one else is going to try and score. Because we know Sam Tierney loves a goal. I know that because I backed her in my fantasy football. She's been getting me goals all season when she wants to.
Like that with me and Megan Finnegan. I do love a defender who knows how to put a ball in the back of the net. But yeah, it is one of those. I think it's going to be more about how the positioning of how we play will be dependent on what happens. Are we going to go zonally, or are we going to go player to player in the marking? Are we going to go and press them and try and win the ball back? I think these are all questions that Jonas will probably be looking at. He's had over a week, nearly over a week to sort of have a look, see what Leicester did in that FA Cup semi-final. That's the other thing as well. Are Leicester going to be as well rested because they've had to go 120 minutes compared to us? We've only had the 90 because of the game against Bristol City was a league game. It is difficult, but I think what will probably happen is it's going to be maybe tight for the first 20 minutes. It might be a little bit of nerves, but then slowly the ball will be kicked about, and it'll just be a game of end-to-end stuff from the 20 minutes onwards, I think.
Yeah, I think they might be looking to get their season back on track, if I'm honest with you. Although they're secure where they are, but it's about taking as many points and upsetting people all the way to the end of the season, I think now. I think there's a lot of smooth transitions from different leagues from both teams at the moment. Or team swaps, if you want to put it. But we are going to get onto the Arsenal, get onto the bit I love to bits, and I know Matt loves to bits as well. But the Arsenal beat Bristol quite comfortably. Kimmy Little with her 99% passing accuracy. I mean, how are you feeling after Bristol? I mean, I know I was happy. Bloody cheered me up after Aston Villa. I wish I never went. I'm not even joking. I wish I never went.
That's kind of what I know you're drinking, so I'll wait for you to finish, because it's one of the reasons why I prefer the women, because the women I find the women more attractive to watch. It's not there always seems to be like everything's a disaster if it's not done perfectly with the men compared to
It's
the
the same in
women.
the women's fan base. You just don't see it yet.
I
It's
don't
the
see
same,
that,
if not worse.
which is great. But when I look at when I see like when we lost 3-1 to Chelsea, I was like, I could understand why we'd lost. Whereas with the men, it's just like, well, you can't just didn't shoot, and because you didn't shoot, you didn't score, and because you didn't score, you didn't get.
Have you noticed the girls have done a lot of that this season? It's not a bad critic.
Yeah,
They've done that.
It's not.
The
It's
amount
not.
of times we've been sitting there going, screaming our heads off, shoot, stop recycling. Like, it's one of my main peeves of the season. They've kept recycling and just won't shoot.
Or you look at the game against Tottenham where you shoot too many times and you're overcompensating, and then that's what happens.
That was desperation. That was too many forwards on and not enough defenders. We almost learnt the hard way. It could have been two.
But I tell you what, though, Chloe Lucas, it looks like a decent right wing back if needed to.
Oh, absolutely. But we've got Laura back. We've got Emily. We're good.
I think this season has been a bit unpredictable, and I think if we do the end of season, it's interesting actually, because if there's an opportunity, it's a small chance. 0.06 of us winning the league, by the way, if anyone was wondering.
Yeah, I was going to go on to that. Just hold your horses just for a minute. I just want to. One of the things I do want to talk about is that the Alessia Russo and Stina Blackstenius playing together. I've been screaming all season, this does not work.
Mm.
And I've said I don't want to see it ever again. But it seems they did really well against Bristol, and it seems like there's a partnership like developing there, which is what we kind of want from that, because obviously we've got the perfect partnership with Bestie, Stina, and Frida. We know that works. Stina scores, we get a worldie from Frida, and that's just how it works. And I love that. But what have you made of it so far? Would you test it out against Leicester again?
I just for me, I know Adam. If Adam was here, would be like screaming at me because I don't. I honestly think if you're gonna need, we brought Alessia as a striker, so you need to use her as a striker. There's no point in using her as the 10 for me. If I think it would, if I had to,
I am gonna pause you there. I know you're in mid sentence, but you can say that about Viv.
I
I'm
was
sorry,
just
but you
about,
can say that about
I
Viv
was
too.
just about to say that as well. I used to say when Viv was playing, she plays as almost a 10.5. So she was half a striker, half the attacking midfielder, and that's what I see with Alessia. So it might be a case of instead of it being the 4-3-3, it'll be a 4-2-2, and then the 1.5 and the 1. Just made Lottie laugh. Apologies, but I think that's the best way I can
I'm
tactically.
not too sure how you're gonna get half a person
Well,
on
you're
the
playing
end.
half.
Sorry,
You're
that's what I'm
playing
laughing
half a
at.
position, aren't you? You're playing a half position and
Oh yeah,
half the
yeah.
other. So
Matt, I just cast my lines. You bit and jumped. I win. Go on. Sorry.
yeah, it's just if we were to have Steven and Alessia, I think the best way forward would to be Alessia to play on the wings um and then Stina in the middle, because you get Alessia that likes to cut in anyway. So which she does a really good job of that. She's not. She can also come a bit more into the midfield if needed to. Um, she's got a good crossing ability as well, and that's another thing. Imagine if Peter Crouch was able to cross for like Jermaine Defoe. I know that's a bit of an England reference, but yeah, it's that's the sort of idea I get. But there's so much talent. I think it's almost Jonas is getting headaches from like days of thinking how many variables he's
Would
got.
you rather be in this situation or be in last season's situation where you're on your bare minimum and on your knees, crawling across that line?
In a way, I think that last season actually was a blessing in disguise, not because of the injuries, but he was able to sort of, he was quicker on his, Jonas was able to quickly think, right, I've got a problem, how do I solve it? Oh right, if Katie can play right, then that's something I've got in my pocket if needed to, or if someone's having a really poor game, he can pull certain players. Obviously there's the one card we don't have anymore because she's gone over to America. And she's having a really good time over there at the moment, isn't she? Winning games and things like that. And but that's the one thing I think we probably do miss at the moment is as a scoring a centre half, and hopefully but then again Lotta's stepped up quite a lot this season.
I was gonna say, what about Lotta? Like, come on. Like, she scored some great headers. I mean, the easy celebration.
Yeah.
Love there. It's just, I'm going to be a bit bold here. I'm at the point where I'm looking at Lotta and how she's played this season, and I can see her becoming like a Leah Williamson molded player, but she's going to be better.
Ooh.
It's a big call. As much as I love Leah, I've got no bad vibes towards any of those players, but I think Lotta could be better.
I will be interested to see what happens next season. Barring what happens with transfers, I think we might see Lotta playing centre back definitely, but I think Leah might end up being pushed into that defensive midfielder role depending on what happens in the summer. Obviously, it's all speculation, but I think I know she doesn't like playing that defensive midfielder role, but I think she suits it a little bit more, and she'll be able to do a little bit more of building up the attack. It's almost like Leah Velty is at the moment, just breaking those lines and things like that. She'll be really good at, and I know she doesn't like doing it, but she's really good at it. Oddly enough, she did start out as a midfielder and then worked her way back, but
The
she's
thing
still
is,
got it in her.
now in the game, you've got to be able to do more than one role.
Yeah,
And
it is very much hybrid.
unless you're Katie
everywhere.
McCabe and you can play it over half the field, that's a different story. But you can't just stay in one position, because when numbers are low, you're going to be expected to cover. And we did a lot of that with Katie last season.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
she's here, she's there, she's bloody everywhere. Katie McCabe. So
I think the only role she hasn't played so far is in that centre mid and centre back at the moment, or
Yeah.
playing in goal, which luckily we haven't had the need for.
we've
but then,
definitely got no issues in that department, thankfully. I think just going back to Jonas's press conference, they did have a question about the chance to catch up with the WSL leaders this weekend. Jonas had this to say: I think it's about the mentality to always do your best and never give up. That's the one thing. My assistant coach, Aaron, who's from Australia, he showed me a video of the Australian short skater in the Winter Olympics that was last in the final. Then everybody slips, and he's going first over the line. The thing is, are you ready? If someone else slips, are you ready, or have you already given up because you didn't think it was going to happen? I think it's a mindset thing, and that's why it's so important to always do your best. You can't really control what other teams do, but there are lots of external factors that you can't control either. But what you can control is your own actions. And in business, there's a lot of writing here. They call that have to return on luck. To make sure that the position yourself, that if you get in that moment, will the return be a lot? That's what I think we need to work with. Secondly, I think for all that we are trying to build, this is really important in the first chapter of the new season also. So when we speak about being consistent, when we speak about the team that we want to be, this is an excellent opportunity for us in all games that we have left to both work and to showcase that. So for me, we have such motivation here in the last games of the season. We've discussed this before. It is possible for City to drop points. It is possible for Chelsea to drop points. And for Chelsea at this point, I am looking at that last game of the season against Man United. They've beat them once. They're going to try and do it again. But I have a feeling Emma Hayes won't allow that, strangely. But it's all down to the last 5 games. I mean, we've got maybe the toughest game out of our fixtures, I think, for me, is going to be some City away. No one likes going up to the City ground, and that's the 5th of May. But I think we can get points from every single game. Matt, how are you feeling about the last few cup finals?
I think we're all in the same boat. I think we're all looking at City and going, "Oh, that's a difficult one." Everton at the moment, just to let people know, it's half time and they're drawing with Brighton, 0-0. So it's one of those teams next weekend. I know we'll do this in the preview, but Everton are very much 50-50. You never know what you're going to get with them. They could be superb on a day, or they could have they could do no wrong, and all of a sudden they're 3-0 down, like they were against Chelsea.
Have a bit of a howler.
I think it's just the lapse of concentration that they have. They didn't do anything wrong. All of a sudden, just Chelsea go and score 3 goals without a reply. Even in the FA Cup, I think Chelsea only won with a last-minute winner as well. And that was at Wharton Hall Park. And there are games that you could. Again, we look at some of those games, like the games against Tottenham and West Ham, the ones we're expected to win this season, and we've come away with nothing. I think this season has come as a bit more of a lesson learned, is to don't underestimate these teams, and make sure you put these games to bed as quickly as possible so they don't get those opportunities again. What are we going to see from these other teams as well? Are we going to see the low blocks, or are we going to see teams that are going to come and go at us? I think Leicester are going to be a team that come and have a go at us. I think Everton are going to come and go and have a go at us. City, they're definitely going to come and have a go at us. And then we got Brighton on the last day of the season. Again, a team you have no idea what team you're going to get at the end of the day. Are they going to come and have a go at us? I'm not too sure. It depends on where they are. Are they guaranteed to be safe in that situation? If I'm honest, if you've got in recent years, if you've got over 15 points, it's usually that's the tally that gets you safe. So I think
this season's 12 at the moment because Bristol City have only got 6.
Yeah, so it's like 12 or 14 points will keep you safe. So West Ham have 12 at the moment, but there's no guarantee. Even if West Ham lose their remaining games, Bristol City might not even get that many points to keep themselves up. But
I don't think they will. They've got Man City, they've got Chelsea. Their fixtures look very tough.
Imagine if those are the last two. Those two games they go and win, all of a sudden. That will be quite a bit of a capitulation, but as I said a bit earlier, 0.06% chance of winning the title. You don't throw someone off until it's over. I think we just got to keep on going.
I think you don't count anyone out until it's mathematically impossible to do. To be fair, I mean, we're looking at the situation at Chelsea and the situation at City at the moment. Personally, with Chelsea, I think Emma Hayes has lost the locker room. I think it started with Anne-Catherine Berger, who's now gone off to Gotham FC, which has been announced now, with their 5 goalkeepers, and I know there's quite a few over there at the minute. So I think for some fans, a bit confused as to why they've signed her. I think I've been looking at some of her like post-match interviews and things, and it's just she's checked out. I feel like she's checked out and she's had enough. She's lost the Conti Cup to the Arsenal. She's lost the FA Cup to Man United. They've got Barcelona twice in the next week. I know they kick off 12:30 tomorrow, which is a bit bizarre for Champions League football, but I'm assuming they're scheduling that around the men's at the moment, although the Barcelona men are out of the Champions League. So that doesn't make sense to me. Again, City, the goalkeeping situation. Matt, what are your thoughts on that? I'm actually going to ask the goalkeepers union on this because obviously Sandy McIver's ruptured her ACL. Ellie Roebuck's obviously got her health issues.
Yeah.
And then you've got this Kiara Keating with a in like speech bubble knee injury. So what do? They haven't drafted an emergency keeper in.
They have,
which they are allowed to do.
They have. They brought in the Brighton goalkeeper. I can't remember what her name is. I will just quickly.
Okay, I haven't seen that. My bad. Sorry, ladies and gents.
Let me just. City women. Goalkeeper.
No, so I think it's going to be a very interesting few weeks because there's officially 29 days until the end of the season now.
Yeah, that will be. I think that will be the So Casey Startup, she's the emergency loan goalkeeper.
Okay.
She's come from Bristol City, so it's just essentially they've asked an academy player to join the club. That's going to be the difficulty because I remember when we went over to the academy stadium 2 years ago, Tobin Heath scoring the equalised that day. We didn't test Kiara Keating. We need to be testing these goalkeepers because essentially they're not 100% into the team. They're making their debuts at the first couple of starts. They're not going to be well adjusted as say a Kiara Keating and Ellie Roebuck, Sandy McIver. It's a bit of a shame that they've had that injury, but I think Bristol City have had this issue as well with goalkeepers. I mean, Kayla Marquise ended up with an ACL injury after she collided with the post. It is a freak of nature to have all 3 of your goalkeepers out all at the same time. I will probably think that if we're going to see teams lose the league, it's going to be City losing the league because they haven't got their mainstay in goal. Whether or not they might be helped out by the likes of Alex Greenwood, Alexander Leia Uabi, even Lana Kennedy, etc., all helping her at the back, which probably will be the main, which probably be how they manage to keep those clean sheets. But that's the one worry, is that once you have someone new coming through between the sticks, there's not that cohesion that you have with your usual goalkeeper. So it's a bit difficult
when you
to say.
watch Kiara Keaton, she's very commanding of her box, and she likes to wind up the it'll be the away fans that time round. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But I'm gonna rewind to the Leicester game because we can talk about City next week. Let's just forget about them for now. Well, in a week's time or so. But let's flip back to the Leicester game. Starting lineups. Who's your starting 11, Matt?
Oh, I think we might see Manu come back in. Left back, I think Steph will probably be playing left. I think it will be the return of Leah and Lotta as the centre backs. Then we'll see Emily, or I think Emily will start, but I think we'll see Laura around the 60th minute. In the double pivot, I've said Kyra, so I'm going to go Kyra and Kim. That then leaves, who do you play? Do you play Alessia and Stina, or do you play Vic? At the moment, Vic's been playing, so I imagine Vic will probably be playing as that attacking midfielder. On the left, I think I'm just about Caitlin Ford, because she's going to be, I think she's going to be causing a lot of problems trying to cut in on that left-hand side. And then on that right, we'll have Beth, and then up top, we'll see Alessia again.
That's not bad. I think the only thing I'd change is that left wing, and I'd put Chloe Lacaster at this point. I do enjoy watching her at the Emirates. But other than that, no complaints. I think that's the starting 11. Hopefully we can bring 3 points back and close that gap. I think in terms of scorelines, I'm going to go with my 3-2. I want drama. I just fancy it. I think Leicester are going to be looking to bounce back. I mean, it's the first visit to the Emirates. They probably want to leave their mark there. Do you know what I mean? We've been to King Power and, how do I put this politely, kick their asses several times. If anything, what the reverse fixtures to go by, they are able to score against us. But a lot's happened since then. There's so much more squad cohesion. I think we might be able to keep a clean sheet this time round, but I'm still going to stick with my 3-2 just to cover myself. Matt?
Well, I've been going for the 2-1s all season, and it's not been working, has it? But Arsenal Leicester is very famous for its 2-1s, so I think I'm going to go Arsenal. I'm going to win this one 2-1.
Nice, awesome. That's all we've got for you tonight. If you want to follow us, hit that subscribe button and that like button for us tonight. Put the notification bell on, and you will not miss a show. All of our shows are pre-recorded, so you won't miss any lives. If you want to follow the pod, it's at VAW Pod on Twitter. If you want to follow me, it's at Lottie_AWFC on Twitter and Instagram. Matt, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at MattLR28, or you can also follow the pod, which is VAW Pod. I think we should just quickly mention you can also follow Adam on at AdamSalter4.
For now, everybody, enjoy your weekend. We will catch up soon. Come on, you Gunners.